Here we have a lighter in Teleplay. But I'm actually making this video not to advertise a lighter, but I'm making this video for Cindy. She asked to make a sample scene for these defensive keychains for women. And here's what they look like. So I don't have a particular keychain like that, so I'm just using this lighter as a stand-in, and then you can easily put a keychain right where the lighter is. So yeah, just to reiterate, I'm using the lighter as a stand-in for a defensive women's keychain. And here's what it looks like. Here's a sample scene I have. I'm trying to make, so because these are defensive women's keychains, I'm trying to like exude like power. Like you have the power to defend yourself, something that's along that line. So here's one sample scene I had. So I'm gonna go through a few different backgrounds and foregrounds, which I think may work well for you. And please, in terms of the physical setup, pretty much every other video I have shows how I set, actually no, let's just do it here as well. So here let's zoom out a little. So we have the green blanket on a wall. We have 2 100 watt LED daylight bulbs lighting the green screen. Then we have 1, 2, 3 lights lighting the defensive keychain on top of cubes. And then that's the physical setup. And I always make sure that the lights that are lighting the actual product are like 10 inches away from it. See how close it is? It's like less than 10 inches away each of these 3 lights is. And you can maybe get away with 2 or even 1 light, but I always like to have, the more lights the better. It just makes things a lot easier. Okay. Sorry, I didn't get much sleep. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is, let's just pretend that nothing is here. So the next thing you want to do is go to your Teleplay app and then click on the gear icon and then press either the calibrate button, press either the calibrate button or the reset button. I find that the reset button actually works maybe even better than the calibrate button when you're using a green screen specifically. When you're using a blue screen, you always just want to use the calibrate button. Anyways, let's continue. So yeah, let's press the reset button. And once you do that, assuming a background is not downloaded, nothing will change. But don't worry, you're seeing a background now because I already have it downloaded. But when you do it for the first time, you're not going to see anything. So the next thing you want to do after pressing the calibrate or the reset button is check out the backgrounds. And my go-to background category right now is AI generated backgrounds. Go to photo preview, and here just look for anything which has like a surface, such as this neon garage scene. That can work pretty well. This works well for pretty much anything, I think. An industrial table. Let's see how that looks. Okay, now that's there. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, make sure your SPO suppression is turned on. Here we have green SPO suppression. Make sure that's turned on. And see how that's like a little bit off the table? You can just move the green cubes a little, and then it'll be back on the table. But you get the idea of what I'm trying to do. Some backgrounds are easier to work with than others. So let's find, how about a fancy tray? That actually I think may work kind of well for you. You can, even though obviously a tray is for food, like why can't you put like it's almost like, a butler is delivering this special keychain just for you. Okay. I think this can actually work pretty well. Why not? And now this neon stand 3 can work. Oh. Okay, let's It's kind of a little hard to make it work with the cubes. Let's find something easier. What about neon stand 4? Let's move it back a little so that it fits on that. I can just cheat a little. Okay. So this feature of adjusting the background like that, that will be within the Teleplay app. Finally, I think within like 5 days on iOS. Anyways, this scene can work well too. I actually really like this scene because it keeps, you're like in a city boat. Actually, this is my favorite background effect so far for you. And you can put like anything you want on it. So this effect is called Neon Stand 4. I'm gonna mark this down in my head as something to, keep in my memory bank. This neon stand, this is too abstract for me. So you get the idea. Pretty much anything that has a surface, and you can, with the cubes, it can work really cool, work really well. And then you can just take it, show it in all 3 dimensions, as if it's actually there. But, so definitely just go through the AI generated backgrounds in the photo preview section and look for anything that has like a surface. Here's a bar counter. I kind of like this. It's like, it's like you're like leaving a bar and you're about to take your defensive keychain with you. I actually really like this scene. But I do like the other scene better. Let's see. It was called let's go back to it. It's called Neon Stand 4. I don't know. I don't know. I really like this scene. Okay, anyways, let's assume you selected this surface. Let's assume you selected this scene within AI generated backgrounds category after scrolling through the photo previews. Now let's select a foreground. So it's defensive women's keychains. So I'm gonna try to, do something that has to do with power. So here, what if we do that? Oh, that looks pretty cool. And then, so what I would do, assuming you're using a foreground effect, is to shoot one scene with a foreground effect, then delete the foreground effect by clicking it like that. Hold on. And then make a separate scene where you just simply take it out, like after the foreground effect. Then you capture people's attention with the foreground effect, and then show your product in all dimensions. So yeah, definitely check out the lightning power category. I think that has some cool effects. This is kind of too not my taste. I mean, you may like it. It's all a matter of preference here. Kind of like this. So yeah, definitely check out lightning power. Lots of effects there. Magic, smoke, and fire. Okay, that can work pretty well. Yeah, definitely check out magic, smoke, and fire category. Energy balls and force fields. I think you're bound to find something here that has to do with power. So whenever I do these types of scenes for customers, I always, whenever I think of their product, I don't think of it as, I could, you're doing defensive women's keychains. And I try to think of okay, what's the feeling that I'm trying to exude? In this case, power, safety, security. And then I go from there in terms of finding the different effects that fall under that theme. Because I think, selling is all about emotion and capturing people's pain points. You may find something in tune energy. because it has to do with power. Explosions. Maybe that can kind of work. Kind of looks actually pretty cool. Yeah, check out the explosions category. Dust and debris has power-like effects. Sparkle and particle effects. This one can work. These sparkle effects work with like pretty much anything, to be honest. So definitely check out the sparkle and particle effects category. This one, this one works for pretty much anything. Almost out of stock. Okay. Maybe also check out the mysticals or something there. Yeah, can kind of work here. I'm like bypassing thousands of effects at the same time. I'm just going through what I think can work. Oh, here's one which can work. It's literally a safe. And what can be more demonstrative of safety and security and power than a safe? So let's see how that looks. Okay. And you'll notice that this foreground effect is a little bit choppy when viewing it in real time, but when you actually press the record button, it's gonna look really smooth. Okay, so that's it for this effect. Okay, so I think that's enough, Cindy, I think that's enough to get you started. So please let me know what you think. If you have any questions, I'm always here for you and for anyone else who wants me to add particular backgrounds or foreground effects, or if you have any questions.